off, UFC 249 was a treat, and after not having UFC for that long, like they really spoiled us. And that main event, while it wasn't the fight we thought it would be as far as closeness, but Gaethje just put on such a composed technical performance that it's really hard to like. It's hard to argue who beats him when he comes and shows up like that. Like Khabib's gonna have a rough night. Everybody's gonna have a rough night. Yeah. I don't think Tony looked as bad as people made him out to be.
I think Justin Gaethje just fought a great fight.
Exactly.
It was just one of those things where I think maybe Tony could have implemented some of the things he was trying to do earlier, when he wasn't as tired. But also, I don't think Tony's ever been that tired.
Exactly, yeah.
So I don't think he expected to be like that.
Yeah.
I think I was surprised, too, because we talked about the biggest thing with Justin Gaethje was his cardio. That's one of the things that everyone criticizes about Justin is that he can't go into later rounds. And it was almost like he got another wind in like the third round and could just keep pushing.
Yeah.
So,
and you heard it in his corner too, where they realized he was starting to turn back into his old self and like get a little reckless. And they're like, "Hey, take some steam off your shots. Like, you're getting tired. We don't need that. We need you to keep your cardio because this is where he finishes."
What's his name?
Trevor Whitman.
Trevor Whitman. Yeah. He said you're trying to put his head in the stands. He's like, take some off of it. Yeah. And that was great advice. That's why he's like considered one of the greatest MMA coaches ever, because things like that, like, it takes a lot to see that, you know.
Yeah. And then, it's like what Kamaru Usman said. It's easy to have cardio when you're the hammer. It's harder to have cardio when you're the nail.
Right.
And Tony is almost always used to coming forward and pressuring and being the hammer. And in this instance, he wasn't. And it wore on him. I mean, you saw that. It happens to literally everyone. Getting punched pulls away at your cardio, especially getting punched by someone as hard as Gaethje.
Right.
And I think if they rematch, Tony definitely will do better.
I agree.
Yeah, he trained for...
He trained so long for a grappler.
Yeah, for 4 months for a grappling only, pretty much, fighter. And Gaethje definitely is not that. Where I was surprised was Tony couldn't... It seemed like Tony couldn't even close the distance on him to get clinches. Where I thought Tony is one of the best at stepping in and getting underhooks and pummeling you to the fence. Gaethje was able to keep him at an arm's reach and really show off his expertise in that mid-range and let Tony come put himself in harm's way while Gaethje kind of just waits to land those gnarly shots. And I think that's going to bode well for if Gaethje ever fights Khabib, because Khabib rushes recklessly. So if Gaethje can come with that same composed approach and maybe just change his shots instead of those wild hooks to maybe short uppercuts and left straights and right straights, he'll definitely be able to keep Khabib off him a little bit more. But Khabib's style of pressure is so much different than Tony's, so it's hard to say, because Tony's is a little more plodding and methodical, while Khabib's is reckless and straightforward. Right. But that recklessness leaves you open. So, man, I definitely didn't think Justin Gaethje was going to get it done. So,
I did not.
Yeah.
I don't. Both of us said we thought Tony would win. Now, the biggest thing, like I said, was his cardio. Even after the second round, I was like, he's dying out. Yeah. I'm like, there's no way. And then Tony dropped him with that uppercut.
Yeah.
And that was bad. That was a vicious. It wasn't like he just dropped him. He crushed him.
Yeah.
And Justin was a little out of it. And then when he came back the third, fourth round, it was like he had a nice head of steam.
But Justin went into his corner and was smiling and laughing and happy that happened. He's crazy. Yeah, he's a psycho. I thought the stoppage was a little late. Give the man a career.
Would you have thrown in the towel?
Yeah, I would have.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we talked about it during the fight and afterwards too. When his corner's giving advice, do the Imanari roll, and his other coaches are asking the other coaches to come step in, because they don't have an answer, and Tony doesn't have an answer. Really, I would love it if Tony, he can do the same thing he does, and just bring in a very knowledgeable head coach. It's not that hard to do. Or even, get Eddie Bravo in there full-time if you really just want, a hardcore jiu-jitsu base.
Exactly.
Just, you got to diversify really a little bit. You just can't have a dude who knows how to hold pads for you. That doesn't work like that. And, when you're doing stuff like throw the sand at him, you've been getting fucking domed for 4 rounds.
Do you know what was sick, though, when he did that and kicked his leg out from under
Yeah.
him. That was sick. Like, I wish he could have capitalized on that.
Yeah. If Tony doesn't go to a camp, I get it. He's a lone wolf. He likes to train by himself. He likes to run his own camps. He does his own thing. He's a weird fucking dude.
Right.
But you get so much better when you have good sparring partners around you and other world champs around you. So imagine how crazy good Tony Ferguson could be if he went to Jackson Wink.
Right.
Or if he went to American Top Team and trained
Something
with
like that.
Usman and the rest of those boys. He could be wild. Just wildly good.
I agree. I'm excited though. That whole lightweight division is crazy. You could do anything with it. You could do Conor, Tony now.
Yeah.
Down the line. I mean, there's so much you could do with it.
Man, Tony, he's already back training.